Everybody, welcome to the Tuesday, April 23rd Working Group LTS meeting. My name is Jeremy, and I'll be the host today. This meeting is covered by the Kubernetes Code of Conduct before we get started, so just keep that in mind. And we are recording, so it'll be available on YouTube for everybody else. The agenda, don't really have much of one today. Can maybe go through and check on a couple of things from before. I definitely didn't have much of a chance to look at the action items that I was going to do, so apologies for that. I did chat with Mo. Let me drop the agenda in the chat first, though. I chatted with Mo a little bit. He was going to bring us a summary kind of KubeCon and what was discussed based off of the recording from the contributor summit. He said he didn't have much of a chance to get that done for today, so his plan is to bring that next time, which will be the May meeting, May 7th. So his plan is to bring that so we can have a discussion kind of on some of those items. I guess, does anybody have any topics they want to go through today specifically? We can take a look at some of the action items from before and see if there was any update on any of those. Probably not from my end. If anybody else has any, they can bring those up.
I'm making a note now in the notes doc that I did ping Josh but didn't get a response, so maybe I should do that again. Last time we asked about the status of the data tool.
Okay.
I'm looking at
I'm
looking at last time, and I think it looks like Jordan had a thought about needing to follow up on some implications of exciting Go version changes. So I don't know if he already has followed up on that or if he wants to kind of move that action item forward. What's your thinking on that, Jordan?
Was that last time? I felt like that was longer ago, but
Everything feels like it was a million years ago, but that was April 9th.
Oh, yeah, that was a different thing than I was thinking about. I know what the implications are. When we bump Go mod versions, anything that picks up our libraries is required to build with a version of Go at least that high. So it raises the minimum floor of what users of our libraries have to build, what version of Go they have to use to build. That's the implication. Depending on what those things are, that may not be a big deal. If they're sort of simple client type things, bumping Go versions is usually not a big deal. Kubernetes usually gets exposed to every possible, like it's a server, it's a client, it runs on the node, so it does system level stuff in the kubelet. Like Kubernetes gets exposed to everything Go has to offer. I suspect something like Containerd or Run C would be very exposed to like the system level, node level things, maybe not so much the server things. So bumping Go versions may not be something they want to do right away. Like they would want to delay, like Kubernetes does, and only do that on new releases. That's the implication. Go is making a change in Go 123 that makes it easier to keep runtime compatibility even if you bump Go versions. We sort of had the first version of this in Go 121, and then they made some changes that simultaneously undid some of the benefits there. So they are, after a report from us, they're making that better again in 123, but that won't be here till August. Maybe we can hold off till August. Anyway, that's the current state. I'll summarize that in the notes. In terms of like what we're going to do in response, I'm not really sure what to do in response. I don't think we can stop taking new Go versions on Kubernetes master and new miners versions. Like we can't fall behind or hold miners back, or we throw off staying on supported Go versions. Things that need to use CRI API, if they can wait till August, then we have a better story with Go 123. So my guess is it's April now. My guess is they can probably wait till August and just use the CRI API version from 129. Like that's a normal thing to do. You link to the version of the library that matches what you need. I will try to raise this wrinkle to the Go team as well. Like some of the things where Go versions sort of become viral in the dependency tree. When I've talked with them before, they were surprised that random libraries were bumping Go versions in their Go mod files for random reasons. They're like, well, can't you just ask them not to do that? Like that doesn't make sense. Why would they do that? Like it's the internet. Who knows why people do things? Yeah, we can ask them, but there's like one of us and hundreds of libraries on the internet. Like it's viral. You can't contain it once it starts going. So I'll try to raise this as well, but I don't know that that's going to change much. I think the compat stuff we get from Go in 123 in August is probably our best bet. It's like herding cats on the internet. Yeah, that's all I got.
That actually brings up a really interesting question because I took a note of, and you can edit and rephrase my rough notes to be better in the note document. But I took a note of you mentioning that we need to stay on supported Go versions, and I was like, ah, yes. So LTS. How is an LTS going to intersect? If an LTS exists, how would an LTS intersect with supported Go versions, or less so?
That actually works really well with the approach we currently have. So today our release branches exceed Go's support window. Like that was already happening. And so we
Okay.
already addressed that by making it safe
Safer.
to to update Go versions. Like we came up with a process where the Go team commits to better compatibility, and they have options where when they make runtime changes, they have a way to default back to the previous change. And if something escapes in a release, they've committed to patching that and putting a gate around it. And then we track the changes and test them on a new miner, and then we are already bumping Go miners in our release branches. And so an LTS, as long as it stayed within the window that the Go team is committed to, which is a 2-year window, it would be able to apply those same changes back. So it would
Our
be
internal team is trying to bump the one. So we have like a fork of Kubernetes right now for our 127 LTS, and our internal team is bumping that to the more recent versions of Go to keep it aligned with things, and it's working pretty well. I don't think they've really run into any major hiccups yet.
I think GKE supports minor versions beyond when open source does, and we've done the same thing. Like we take the updates that we needed in open source to get to a new Go miner, and we apply them to our like 125, 126 branch bump Go versions. So it's working well for us as well.
We've done mostly the same, except for I think the really old versions, in which case we've had to backport Go patches to Go.
Yeah, 123 was I think the first miner in open source that caught up to Go versions. And so 123 and up is the first, like that's the lowest we had been doing this on internally as well. Yeah.
Taking a look at some of the other action items we had from before, and I think we had discussed doing some blogs. Does anybody want to drive any of those? 'Cause I don't know if we had any like super concrete owners for things. Scott, you mentioned you could contribute something around reducing.
You just went on mute, Jeremy, or
Just
Now I can sort of hear you.
Okay. Is it still not working?
Now we can hear you now. It was
Okay,
like
cool.
dropped.
Yeah, so weird. It was not muted, so it was my microphone just cutting out,
You
I guess.
you just needed more AI.
Yeah,
That's all.
I need more AI to complete my
Yeah.
talking. Just have it do it for me. No, we don't have Scott today, I think. So Scott had volunteered to do a blog on I think he volunteered to do a blog. He said I could contribute something around reducing workload disruption during upgrades. So I'll follow up with him to see if he's interested in picking that up still. And then we had another around improving internal mindset to avoid breaking changes. Jordan, did you have any thoughts around how we might
I thought the PRR folks might, I mean, that's kind of their wheelhouse
for sure?
already, but instead of it just being so you're writing a KEP, now run the gauntlet of PRR, having like flipping it around and sort of having it be kind of an outreach, like maybe having them take one of the questions and like make it an anecdote or an example, or like, here's why we asked this question, or here's an example of the things that thinking well about this could prevent. I hadn't reached out to them to do that, but that was my idea, like sort of giving them an opportunity to reverse the information flow and be a broadcast outreach kind of thing.
It looks like there have been a few cautionary tales and a few success stories added to that brainstorm stories of keeping existing things working doc.
Yeah.
That are useful.
I thought that might be good fodder for those. Like a lot of these are actually, you could tie these to one or more PRR questions and say, like, here's why we ask this, because when we do this, it goes well, and when we ignore this, it goes badly. I will at least drop into the PRR channel a link and a question and maybe start the conversation up there.
Yeah, I'm happy to do that too. I've been shadowing PRR for the last couple of cycles, so
Oh,
this would fit under
so
my.
many hats, Jeremy. Can you wear all the hats?
PRR shadowing, PRR review is really cool, just for anybody else that's interested, because you get to read a lot of KEPs and read a lot of different things. I think it's really interesting to see what's coming and think about things from the other, like from the user side, and like, oh, this might break me in this way. It's useful kind of thinking about that.
So do you want to?
Yeah, I can take this.
Great. You have the baton now.
Okay, and then let's see what else we got in here. I did not update the slide deck yet that I started, so I'll make sure I do that this week too. Okay. And then we had one, Bridget.
had a comment.
Oh, go ahead.
Like the messaging, there is hope.
Yeah.
There were like two or three ideas under there that could be distinct blog posts. We talked about doing it nowish, but after the release might be a good time. It's too late to be ahead of 1:30, but that's fine.
Yeah, I
Yes.
think go ahead, Bridget. Sorry.
Oh, I'm agreeing with Jordan that doing it between releases, you know, kind of in the lull period of blog posts is a good time. And I think I remember our discussion and me thinking that one of the themes of what we would be offering people when they read it is they feel encouraged and they feel hopeful about this stuff. Like they see, you know, examples that they can follow and not feel, you know, like we're laying forth a whole bunch of complicated rules, but more that we're giving them a path that'll be useful for them. Yeah.
Is that something that you think you could take a stab at?
I think if I'm the only person working on it, it would be difficult to have it get into production before 1.31, but I can definitely collaborate on it.
I can as well. I think the outline of some of the talks that I gave at KubeCons might be a good starting point. So yeah, I'm happy to work with you on that.
Okay. When you put that down for, we should discuss this like in the off week between meetings
Yes.
and see what we come up with before next meeting.
Yes.
Pick a topic that seems achievable.
Okay, I think that covers most of the action items we had before. I think the last one was probably following up on our open issue around clarifying the backport guidance. I can take a stab at that one too. The kind of sig release stuff.
What did we need to clarify there?
We opened an issue to strengthen the wording around what can be backported, just to align with making no regressions. And yeah, Jordan just linked the issue, so I was trying to copy it. And there've been a couple of pretty good comments on the issue itself around things we might want to do. So I will take a stab at trying to propose something that aligns with those.
I think the wording as it is now is sufficient for a backport approver who wants to hold the line, but it's also vague enough that a backport approver who's like, I'm not actually sure where the line is,
Yeah,
might be convinced to take stuff in backports that really doesn't belong backports. So
I think it's vague enough that somebody will could argue about things, and if you're not firm with the
yeah.
line.
And actually, like, even like I found community folks very responsive when we ask, like, does this need to be a backport? Is it fixing a regression or a security issue or a severe bug, or is it a nice to have? Like, I think people are just like, oh, it's a bug. Like, I'm being a helpful person. I'm like fixing the bug in more releases. And we don't want to like squash that ethos. But like helping them see like every action has a potential consequence, and so that's what we're trying to weigh here. Like, I don't see many people arguing once we kind of point out, like,
Yeah.
really just want regression fixes. Yeah.
All right. Anything else we want to go over today? Otherwise, we can end a little bit early today.
This is plenty.
All right. Well, hope everybody has a great rest of your Tuesday. See ya.
You too.